I spent the last weekend playtesting Smash Ultimate at the Nintendo vs UK event in London. The other invited players and I had a backroom to ourselves to freely play the game over 2 days. On the Sunday, we were able to use tilt stick with tap jump off, so we were able to experiment with a lot of new things that other players haven't had the chance to. I feel very fortunate to have had this opportunity, and I'm very grateful to Nintendo UK for setting the whole thing up. I have an absolute ton of things to say about the game, but if you want my super quick impressions, I think the game is very promising, and Fox seems very good, though there are still a few things I'm a little bit uncertain on. I'll quickly recap the mechanical changes that were made, so if you're already aware of all that stuff, skip to the time on screen now. So, you can now interrupt your full run into pretty much any action. You can do the same with turnarounds. You can no longer power shield attacks at the start of your shield, but instead when you release your shield. Also, when releasing your shield, it has more lag than in Smash 4. Foxtrots are way quicker now, so you can foxtrot back and forth from what we'll call a dash dance, even though it's not really like melees. You can't jump cancel things anymore, so you instead just up smash or up B at a shield with no jump squat frames. You can charge smash attacks for an insanely long time, though once they hit their max charge, they no longer gain any power. If you run into a character, you can't run through them anymore, and you instead just keep pushing them. You can't footstool characters while they're in hitstun, and footstools are techable now, so footstool combos are completely gone. Also, when you lock someone, they're able to choose any get-up rather than being forced into a standard get-up. There are two types of air dodges now: neutral air dodges, like we've seen in Smash 4 but with more lag, and directional air dodges that have even more lag and landing lag at the cost of their added mobility. The hit stun in this game is lower overall, and DI seems to be stronger as well. You can now drift during a ledge trump. Magnet hands got nerfed across the board. There are two damage modifiers. If you're in a 1v1 with no items on, damage is increased by 120%. Our setups had smash balls turned on, so we didn't get to use this modifier, so all the damage numbers I'm going to say are without that modifier. The other modifier is that any aerial done from a short hop has its damage reduced by 85%. And finally, while these aren't strictly mechanical changes, grabs and back rolls were nerfed across the board in lag, and aerial landing lag was also reduced across the board. Okay, so what are the implications of all of these changes? In Smash 4, moving forward and approaching is kinda weak. Moves have a lot of lag, and shield is extremely safe to enter, so most characters succeed by playing at safe ranges doing low commitment options. For Fox, he basically tries to stand at a range where he can threaten an approach without actually committing to one. By standing around here, an opponent can't react to dash attack or something, so they get scared and throw out something that Fox can then whiff punishes. This is very different in Ultimate. Fox running back is now a universal, incredibly strong, very low commitment option, so these kind of unreactable sudden approaches are much weaker by default as they lose to that option. If Fox rushes forward with a dash attack, whiff punishing him is easier than ever. Despite that, neutral and ultimate, at least so far, seems to be more aggressive. The reason for this is that even though rushing forward isn't as good, Foxtrots being so strong and landing lag being so low means that more options are less of a commitment. In Smash 4, even empty movement was a commitment, but that's less of the case in Ultimate. Consider a foxtrot forward in this range in Smash 4. If I'm to interrupt my foxtrot, all I can do is jump, dash attack, dash grab, or dash forward. I can potentially do a foxtrot back out of my next initial dash, but I space myself quite close to the opponent to do this, and this whole movement is quite slow, leaving me vulnerable. Compare this in Ultimate, where a foxtrot ends much quicker, moving backwards afterwards doesn't require an initial dash forward, and I can do any action I want at the end of it. This means it's much safer to move forward to add pressure, and as a carry-on effect from that, it's now safer to throw out attacks as well. Additionally, shield is much less safe to enter. Shield grabs all have their range nerfed, and landing lag is lower, meaning it's very easy to space stuff on shield. It takes longer to leave shield as well, meaning that spaced moves are even safer in this game. It's nearly impossible to punish moves on cross-up compared to Smash 4. Because shield is less inviting to enter, it means both players are able to attack more often as well, which also makes the game more aggressive. I want to clarify, when I say aggressive, I don't mean that you're running at the opponent approaching like mad. I mean the game has more pressure and is faster paced in general. This brings me into my next point though, running tilts. I expected these to be a huge game changer, but we all found that in neutral they really weren't very impactful. By nature, you can't drift during a grounded move like you can with an aerial, which makes them much more difficult to space. Neutral and Ultimate is highly focused on whiff punishing, where you dance around your opponent's hitboxes before landing your own and making a conversion, and a lot of tilts are laggy enough to be whiff punished in this way. If I run forward and do a down tilt as my opponent foxtrots back, they have time enough to foxtrot back in and punish that down tilt for free. And considering how important foxtrots back and safe aerials are, it makes running tilts even less desirable. This also means the stage control is much more important than ever in Ultimate. Getting off the ledge is as hard as Smash 4, if not harder, so not having the space to foxtrot back and potentially being forced back onto ledge makes it even more difficult to deal with pressure. Considering all of that, it may seem like I'm saying running into attacks is useless, but that's far from the truth. With safe aerials being so good, being able to catch jumps with something like Fox's run up tilt is a strong tool, and run jab for most characters is a safe way of catching the opponent approaching. Safe attacks are king in this game, so a lot of characters will use this mechanic for that purpose. Sheik, for example, can use running F tilt to catch jumps and approaches. Ridley can use running down tilt to force an opponent into shield that was staying grounded too much, that kind of thing. I think running tilts are a huge game changer in advantage state though. So let's talk about advantage state in general. I said hitstun is lower, but I think advantage state is much nuttier than it's going to be in Smash 4. I really can't stress enough just how garbage air dodges are in this game compared to Smash 4, or maybe I should say how different they are. They still get you out of combos and have great usage, but it's much easier to trap them. I don't have the exact numbers, but I read somewhere that neutral air dodge was nerfed by around 20 frames of additional lag, while directional air dodges have an extra 50 frames compared to Smash 4's air dodge. Like, as in, if you directional air dodge off stage as Fox, you will die. Also, I'm going to refer to neutral air dodges as NADs and directional air dodges as DADs from here on because it's a mouthful otherwise. So yeah, the Punish game is much more reactive and freeform than Smash 4's set combos. In Smash 4, you often have to shadow landings and try to trap air dodges on landing, whereas in Ultimate, you can chase characters decently high up and then react to their air dodge. In this clip, there's inkling DADs to the right, and they're in lag the entire time until they hit the ground. My punish was a jab because, like I said, I'm not used to the game, but this could have been an up smash to kill instead. I didn't get many full strings where I covered things properly, but I found this advantage state to be incredibly fun and my favourite part of the game. This system works much better due to better movement and lower lag, firstly, but it's also made better by running actions. This means that characters like Fox can force an air dodge, then chase it with an up tilt, leading to even more combos. It also means that moves that send horizontally are much stronger. Attack chasing is better in this game as you can simply run at an opponent then react to their option even if the attack roll back in. Because movement is so easy and fluid, it makes advantage state much more expressive in my mind. Even if huge true combos are gone, it means we're going to see a much more interactive and exciting advantage state. That said, in nearly every set you watch from the weekend, you'll see us trading constantly or getting hit by attacks during combos. With air dodges nerfed and jump being a less desirable option as a result of that, it made attack quite a strong option of hitstun compared to the others. Firstly, in the footage that I have, we all keep getting hit because we weren't used to the hitstun, but I think this is also where the parry comes in. The new power shield mechanic is a decent amount stronger, so you can probably use it to cover those mashed attacks better. I am a little bit concerned about attacks that have hitstun. The super low landing lag could end up making them a bit too strong and difficult to cover, but I'm optimistic at the moment that they won't be a huge problem. Another aspect of the Punish game is that air dodging on the platform seems much stronger. See, air dodges have more lag, but they have lower landing lag. NADs have the lowest, whereas DADs have more that goes down depending on how high up it was used. This means that NADs closer to the ground are stronger than they were before, which can be much more challenging to chase, and it's where my fear of mashed attacks comes in. Low landing lag on air dodges means that landing onto platforms with them is a pretty strong mix-up, and I didn't quite get used to that during my playtime. I found it was incredibly easy to vortex in Final Destination, but much harder to do that on Battlefield as a result of this. I imagine this won't end up being too difficult to cover once people get used to it, but it's also another thing I'm a little bit worried about. I've been mostly speaking positively about the game until now, but I will say that I really don't like that you can't run through characters. It feels very strange, but more to the point, I feel it unnecessarily removes an interesting mix-up. Next up, movement. While movement is extremely freeform and easy to execute, I really don't like this dead zone between the initial dash and the foxtrot completing. In Melee, dash dancing allowed you to do it at any point during the initial dash and control your distance accordingly. This allows you to space at specific intervals and the whole thing was more organic for pressuring ranges. In Ultimate, you can only dash dance after your initial dash is over, making it the exact opposite of Melee. It's kind of like when you're playing Falcon and they're too far away for you to standing grab, but a dash grab goes past them. It doesn't really feel very comfortable, I'm hoping there's some kind of change in place by the time the game launches to smooth out this rough edge. Aside from that, I will say I love the movement changes, and they did a very good job of lowering the entry barrier with them as well. On a different topic, it seems like dash attacks have moved away from being zone breakers and more into big commitment burst kill options. Samus and Mewtwo's dash attacks both kill now, for example. Fox's is still a damage racking tool, but it has more lag now, as does dash grab. I imagine this is why the American Foxes think he's not great, because if you try to play the previous rock paper scissors style, it really doesn't work. I was very skeptical of Fox at the first few hours as well. I feel a lot of the changes in neutral and ultimate make the game more aggressive and free flowing with fast movement and quick attacks, but I'm unsure of how much of that is just the way we were playing and how much of that is how the actual game works. I'm slightly worried that the future of the game will have characters just running back and forth and throwing out completely safe aerials with no commitment. I don't think this will end up being the case for two main reasons. Firstly, stage control is more important, like I said, due to how good foxtrotting is, and secondly, gaining stage control is also easier now as it's safer to move forward while threatening attacks. There are more tools in neutral that force an opponent to move further backwards, so games should hopefully continue being aggressive and not end up in this dumb movement based stalemate. Okay, that was a lot of thoughts for a game that isn't due out for like 100 and something days, so I may be way off the mark on everything, but based on the mechanical changes and how our play developed over the 2 days, this is what I think will be successful in Ultimate and how the game will likely be played. So now we've gone through all of that, let's move on to Fox's changes specifically. I played probably 95% Fox over the course of the weekend, and he remained by far the most fun character in the game for me. The way he has to play to succeed is quite different in this game though, but I think the engine changes end up helping him more than a lot of the other characters. So let's just get right into it. Jab now tumbles at 0%, meaning the opponent has to tech. This isn't a true tech chase as they can tech in place and attack before you can do something, but it can lead to direct pressure to force them to hit a button or something like that. This is a great tool for setting up advantage due to how good Nair is, which I'll talk about later. Rapid Jab though is now way less safe on shield, so you have to be way more careful about how you go into it. That said, Rapid Jab can be held for longer before it drops, doing around 12% from 10%. Jab's got a universal change in this game where they're designed to pretty much always link into the rest of their combo. I'm not 100% sure about this, but it seems like this only happens when you actually hit someone with a jab. I was still able to mix up with jabs into grabs on shield, but if I did the same on hit, it would just go into the rest of my jab. Pivot forward tilt slides way less far. I've heard that the reverse hitbox is still in the game, but I personally didn't get it a single time when I was playing. And considering you can do a running reverse up tilt, its usefulness has probably been totally replaced with that. Aside from that, F tilt seems identical. The hitbox and up tilt was nerfed, which is fair enough to be honest. It also does less damage while grounded, down to 7% from 9%. As a result of either that, or maybe a knockback nerf, it doesn't send the opponent as far. I think it's also a tiny bit laggier. The numbers I got were 2 frames laggier, but I've heard conflicting reports on this. The lower hitstun means it doesn't go into upper as easily, but you can go into Nair, which you can then set up into another up tilt. Or, if they DI away, you can actually do up tilt to run up tilt, which is kind of hilarious. This move mainly excels in its ability to extend advantage state by trapping Airdodges. It seems down tilt now pops them up throughout the entire hitbox. However, due to stronger DI, they can now escape combos with DI away. That said, this is a new combo route that definitely needs exploring. I didn't use this enough during my gameplay. Dash attack has been nerfed. It has more lag now, but I'm unsure exactly how much. And also, due to the shield changes, it's much harder to cross up with this move, making it less safe to approach with. Forward smash kills so much earlier. It's tragic I don't have any footage of this actually working, but it does exist out there. I think it has a tiny bit more lag, but the kill power makes up for it in my mind. When I say kills earlier, I'm saying like it's stronger than up smash levels. I think down smash kills earlier, I'm not 100% sure to be honest. Magnet hands on recovery are worse though, which makes this move much better for edge guarding. I was able to keep characters like Bowser off the stage for like 6 recoveries in a row. Up smash actually got buffed. It's the same kill power, but the hitbox is now much bigger, allowing Fox to sweet spot it on the battlefield platform. The bigger hitbox also makes up tilt to up smash confirm. Wait, before you go crazy, that's not a kill confirm, it's just a confirm in general. You can't jump cancel it anymore to do a slide though, which makes some other confirms like down air to up smash much harder. Okay, so I've talked about Nair already a little bit, but this move is unbelievably amazing now. Its landing lag was reduced to 7 frames from 11, but it also benefits a ton from the engine changes. I think it might kill earlier and have higher base knockback, but I'm not 100% sure on that. The fact that Nair combos in the jab is important for Fox, as you're going to be setting up advantage with jab more often. More to the point, you can do a rising Nair, fade back, and still be safe on shield. That's crazy. What's even crazier is that you can do a rising Nair, fast fall, and still be able to confirm into jab. So that incredibly safe space neutral tool you just did is now a confirm it sets up advantage state. As a result, Nair is a huge neutral tool now. It can be safe in a multitude of different ways, leads to pretty good reward, and its high activity makes it pretty hard to approach against. I personally think this is the best move on Fox's kit based on how I played. Forward air got changed a lot. Its landing lag was reduced to 18 frames from 27, which sounds good, but 18 is still pretty high in this game. The damage from all hits is up to 11% from 7, which is a welcome change. The Fox Copter from Brawl is back, making Fox fly higher into the air when he does a jump with this move. You hover so high that you can actually do a ledge hop fair and auto cancel onto the platform on Battlefield. The hover is so strong that you can't fast fall while rising at all. This means if you do short hop fair, you can't fair spike opponents to force tech chases, but instead you have to delay the fair slightly. Believe it or not, back air actually got buffed. That blows my mind. Its landing lag was reduced to 9 frames from 15, which puts it in the same boat as Nair as being stupidly free to throw out. These next 2 points may be super placebo, but I'm 99% sure the hitbox on it was buffed. I'm pretty sure that the physics changes also have increased aerial mobility across the cast, which allows Fox to go a bit further off stage with back air while still being able to make it back. Those last 2 points are really hard to prove to be sure, but I feel pretty confident about them. Sadly, my baby down air was nerfed. While the landing lag was reduced to 17 frames from 25, 17 is still too laggy to safely throw out in neutral without risking a big punish. The first nerf it saw was to its hitbox. I have never seen people pop out of down air as often as I did over those 2 days of ultimate. On numerous occasions, I would land the multi-hits of down air, then the landing hit would just whiff completely, so I would get no combo or get punished on hit. The last hit seems to have had its hitbox nerfed as well, and now loses trades much more frequently. The biggest nerf is that it no longer frame cancels on landing. See, in Smash 4, down air's landing lag actually changes depending on how it lands. If you whiff, it has 25, if you hit a shield it has 18, and if you hit an opponent it has 16. This is due to the hit lag of the move overlapping with its landing lag, and this is called frame cancelling. This appears to be removed or fixed in Ultimate, meaning it's a flat 17 no matter how it lands. This means that it's basically nerfed for landing lag compared to its Smash 4 iteration when it hits an opponent, and this makes confirms relatively harder for it compared to Nair confirms. Auto cancel down air is still in, but the removal of footstool and fair spike make it much harder to use, meaning you have to go into either up air or Nair into jab, that kind of thing. Both those combo routes are fine, but they're no down air footstool. Time to throw all of this work in the trash, and cry, and then move on to the next move. Up air seems basically identical. The landing lag was reduced to 14 frames from 22, which makes it more practical to trap landings with landing up air. I never did it though on account of muscle memory. Landing up air combos are still totally doable though, and they can go into back air or another up air. Aside from that, up air still auto cancels, does 16% and kills. Laser got buffed by 3 frames, but it's still basically useless because the game is so fast now. You don't have time to pull out blaster, so it's not worth going for it considering how important stage control is. Okay, so when I was editing this video, I realized that talking about illusions changes alone took me 3.5 minutes, so I'm going to save you that time and tell you just to read the description instead. Essentially, illusion has higher startup and doesn't go through shield, so it's useless in neutral and makes the ledge much harder. Up B received some compensation buffs for the illusion changes, the most notable being a bigger hitbox in the later part of the move. It's much harder to hit Fox out of this move, and more characters were trading illusions with this move than I've ever seen. Additionally, the base knockback has been increased to a ridiculous extent, leading to some dumb stage spikes and also making it safer to hit opponents waiting at ledge. The move also kept its absurd Magna Hands from Smash 4, which makes it stand out further against the generally nerfed Magna Hands. Due to DADs, it's impossible to trap an opponent's air dodge into up B though. Okay, so Shine is faster now, coming out frame 3 from 6. You can only Shine stall once, after that you just drop straight down. The knockback still seemed garbage, but honestly I barely touched this trash move. Please stop asking me about Shine changes, it's not good, it's never been good, it's not going to be good. It's bad, I'm very sorry. Okay, let's talk about something else. Standing grab had its lag nerfed to 36 frames from 26, while dash grab had its lag nerfed to 45 from 36. Also, our standing grab had its range nerfed like all the other characters. I have no idea what pivot grab is like on account of not being able to run through people on pivot grab. With shield being weaker, grabs are naturally less important, but this is especially true for Fox as he basically has no throw game now. Down throw no longer combos. I was able to get down throw fair on some fat characters, but other than that, they can basically always attack out of it, even with slow attacks. Forward throw is unchanged from Smash 4, but made better by the engine changes with tech chasing. This may end up being Fox's main throw. The lower hitstun in this game reduces up throw's advantage even further, making it often impossible to get anything after it. Either due to stronger DI or a nerf, back throw is somehow even worse. They go so high from it that they can end up just drifting back onto the stage, even without using their jump. This is pretty trash. Oh, and finally, Fox's spot dodge got buffed along with other spot dodges, but Fox's specifically is just the fastest in the game now, for some reason. Thank you, Sakurai. And I think that's everything concerning Fox's moves. With that all out of the way, how will Fox actually be? Well, I mostly covered everything already in terms of what he can and can't do, but I think Fox is very strong in this game. The engine really benefits fast fallers. It's important to be able to force an air dodge and then be able to trap it, and Fox excels at exactly that. I can picture his advantage state being downright oppressive to deal with when optimized. I get some glimpses of that in my games, but I kept forgetting to use up tilt in the correct place, or I would misjudge hitstun and so on. Based on how I've described the neutral, Fox is also strong in that area. His dash dance is among the best in the game, and being able to interrupt his initial dash at any time with a rising nair that's safe and confirms into advantage starters is so important. I can't stress enough just how much nair does for his neutral in this regard. Back air, auto cancel, down air, jab and up tilt are also very good neutral tools in my mind. And even though his whole rock paper scissors unreactable approach mix-ups got nerfed heavily, he still has them, so he can zone break with dash attack and start strings with it very easily. Fox is able to force an opponent to give up stage control better than other characters due to his nair and strong dash dance, and he can also still oppress a lot of the cast with his frame data. His disadvantage also gets some buffs. Being a fast faller isn't as awful this time round because you can DID downwards to escape a lot of situations, then hit the ground sooner than other characters and return to neutral. That said, he's still going to have a hard time landing due to his poor hitboxes, and his recovery will get gimped much more frequently. Good Firefox angles are going to be even more important due to that move's buff. Pretty much everything I said earlier has been framed through Fox's eyes, so I imagine you've already got a good enough idea of what he excels at or not in this game. Also, it's a demo, so I probably shouldn't be this invested in fear crafting things that could change. Oh, but it's too late for that, isn't it? And I think, finally, that's it. I was going to talk about all the other characters, but considering how long this video is getting compared to everything else I've ever made, I think I'll leave that for another time. So, based on everything I've said, what do you think of Fox in the game in general? I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything. If you want to see footage of me playing Fox, I have a playlist on my channel, and there's way more games over on Kibzu's channel of me playing as him and others. When Ultimate comes out, I'll be making a ton of content about Fox and other characters to see how they hold up, and hopefully I'll see you then. Goodbye for now.